So welcome everyone. As I say, we're from all over different stages of business, but regardless, value whispering is the concept that I've seen helps every business grow, whatever stage. So I've worked with businesses who are 15, 20 years into their business. They're already turning over 1 million, and this process has helped them to grow further. And it's helped people at the very early stages to really get their business in shape quickly and grow that as well from with confidence, because there's so much to do, so many moving parts. If we can eliminate the ones we don't need and the ones we do need, have them coming working together in a straightforward process that makes sense, then things come together much quicker. So we're going to dive into value whispering. As I say, this is the concept that I've developed over, well, my entire career of 30 years in marketing and communications, but also has been then tested in my own business when I started a communication consultancy. And then I've spent the last almost a decade bringing this to other smaller business owners as well, because I think it's a great way to, as I say, streamline everything, because we only have so much time and energy as individuals. So this helps bring everything together and also cut through the noise, because there's so much business out there. Sometimes it's hard to know what's right now, what to listen to, what not to listen to, and how to tell like what's the right advice for us. It's all very personal. So I will share my screen. So I wanted to ask you a question to get started. So we often start our own business, and why I hear people do that is to create success on their own terms. But I'm curious, what does that mean to you? Pop that in the chat. So for Kath, that's being able to work more ethically than the big companies. Great. For Catherine, that's flexibility, time doing the work I want to do, seeing the clients I want to see. Yeah, brilliant. You get to choose, which is always nice to have the choice, isn't it? So Nikki, helping as many people as I can in their lifestyle journeys. Jenny, balance and calm rhythm. For Irene, is to be able to connect to my audience and get a regular flow of coaching clients that's sustainable personally and financially. So it's a little bit different for everybody. There is no one goal we're all working towards, not one thing we're trying to achieve through our business. And we're looking for more time, that freedom to have more time with our family, or to travel, or to study, or to write a book, or whatever. Time for the things that are important to us. We want more money, because that's not just about being greedy. It's definitely about being able to pay your bills, but also if you're profitable in your business, then you can help more people over a longer term. If you're not making that profit, then your business doesn't last very long, and then we're not able to help people. And for most business owners, that doesn't feel successful. We can create more impact, have more recognition, more fulfillment, more personal growth. There are so many reasons, but your answer to this question changes everything. So it changes your goals and how you want to achieve them. It changes the clients that you want to work with. As we said, you can really pick and choose who exactly do you want to be helping, using your expertise to help them with that transformation. It changes the business model and the offers that you create, because not all offers are going to give you what you want, not always are going to give you the profit or the lifestyle or the time freedom that you want. And the way you approach marketing sales will change according to what success looks like to you. And it's ultimately going to determine what you say yes to and what you say no to. It's really that filter of what is right for you. So understanding first what success on your own terms actually mean in practice, and knowing the answer to that is going to guide everything about your business. But then that means that this idea of one size fits all in business doesn't work. You can't have a cookie cutter solution that's going to work for everybody and their goals and help them feel successful. They are not designed for your business, for your personality, for your values, for your clients, for your desired outcomes. And as a result, if you're trying to use these strategies that just weren't designed for you, ultimately you're going to feel stuck, exhausted, and frustrated. And if we're feeling in that space, that's not where we can show up with impact and really create some meaning and success on our own terms. So we want to step away from that. But then that's the scary part, right? If we're doing something different, then what do we do? And the big thing that especially I see with cookie cutter solutions is when it comes to marketing. And even those who have a marketing background, when it comes to marketing your own business and putting your hand up saying, hey, I can help you, I'm brilliant. It feels a bit weird and awkward. It's difficult to do. So we can quickly turn to these gurus that are saying, this is the way to market your business. But there are hundreds of methods. And as we've seen, we need to find the method that works for us because there's no one way, there's no shoulds or musts, except it should feel right for you and attract your right clients. If it doesn't feel right for you, you know what we do? We don't do anything. We either procrastinate or we just don't do it. And again, sometimes if we're taking these strategies that weren't designed for us, aren't suited to our version of success, who we are, and that experience and transformation we want to create, then it has the opposite effect for us. It kind of feels like, well, I'm not cut out for this. I wasn't meant to be in this space, which is not true. And if you're not attracting the right clients, people who pay the right fees on time, who really value your processes and enjoy working with you and are willing to do the work to help themselves, because we can be their guide, but we can't do everything unless you have a done for you business. We need the clients to step up as well. So it has to be that collaboration. And if you're not attracting those right clients, again, you're going to start to go down this doom spiral and think, oh, these clients are proof that I'm not good enough, and they demand more, they demand discounts, and all of these things make it just not really a joy anymore in our business. So it's really important that we work with the right clients. And your marketing should reflect the experience that you create and the transformation that you deliver, so that again, when your marketing reflects who you are and what you're actually about and what you do for your clients, you start to attract those right clients in. So it sort of compounds them. So in my view, those are the only shoulds in marketing that you should have. And this is why I feel Value Whispering is different, and why I developed the system is because it starts with your goals, personality, and your dream clients and your dream outcome. So it's really looking at what do you want first, and where is that overlap between what's brilliant and unique about you and who your dream clients are. So I call that your value sweet spot. And when we design everything in this space, you start to naturally differentiate yourself and start to find those strategies that are going to work for you and feel good and actually move your business forward. And it's only then that you're really going to have that right business model, have that right messaging and market positioning and the approach for you. And so you feel aligned every step of the way. And when you feel aligned, when you feel you're doing the right thing, you're in the right space and you're confident, that's when we start to attract that flow of the right clients and achieve flow ourselves in our business as well. So, as I mentioned, it's a process because we need to find out step by step what's right for you and your clients and that experience, and then weave that through everything that you do. So, I'll walk you through that process because everything we're going to do in the Value Whispering Circle, it all comes down to this. And at the end, I've got a special, it's not really an offer, it's completely free. But I'm going to show you how you can get the entire system mapped out for free. So I'm excited to share that with you. So this is, as I say, this is just setting the context of where my thinking around business growth and marketing, and therefore the context of everything else we're going to cover in the Value Whispering Circle. So it starts with understanding your true value, which is your vision, your values, everything that's unique and special about you. Who are those right fit clients? What do your dream clients look like? And what do your nightmare clients look like as well, so that we can avoid those red flags and create a beautiful filter for attracting more of the right people, and therefore what is the right offers and messaging that we can use to attract those. So that is the first stage, is understanding that true value and then packaging that ready to then weave through your marketing and your sales conversations and start to put some simple processes in place to make sure that you can manage that over the long term and without burning out or overextending yourself, which as women, we're brilliant at doing that, at taking on too much and doing too much. So we want some processes to help prevent that. And what's going to support that side of things is this idea of self-leadership. So it's putting the positive habits in place, having the right mindset that's working for us, challenging those negative beliefs and anything that's not quite true, that's maybe holding us back and standing in our way, and mastering our productivity. So putting some clear boundaries in place and then looking at, well, what works for us when it comes to getting things done in a way that feels good and we can feel confident every day. So all of that works together, because I could sit with you for a day and create your perfect messaging and marketing plan. But that's not going to work if you don't believe in it, if you don't feel confident to deliver that for yourself. So mindset and the habits and productivity is really, really essential. And the more I do this, the more people I work with and more experts I speak to, the more I'm convinced that the true key to success on your own terms is having those clear boundaries, to having that self-love, respect, and compassion needed to put the right boundaries in place, and then everything else works from there. And this is an approach that sits right with our feminine energies and flows and cycles as well. So it's all being respectful to who you really are and what you want to achieve ultimately. So I'll break these steps down a little bit further. So the true value part, as I said, is really identifying your true value. So the struggle with this, I see, is that very often, one way or another, we're taught that if we talk about our struggles or our failures, that's bad. It shows weakness, and we shouldn't talk about that. And we shouldn't brag about our strengths and tell people how brilliant we are either. That's bragging. No one wants to hear that. It's being full of yourself. But then that leaves us in the middle feeling the same as everyone else. But the trick is you want to embrace all of this, because where you've had challenges in the past, what hasn't worked for you has really shaped your perspective. It's shaped what you know works for people like you. And this is where I've come from with the value whispering blueprint, because as someone who has a quieter personality, what everyone else is saying marketing should look like just doesn't fit right for me. And I know as a marketing professional, it doesn't have to be that way. So that was one of the big catalysts in helping me put this together, so people can see there's no one way, and really have permission to create something that works for them on their terms. So our failures gift us this amazing perspective that no one else has, and a sensibility often for our dream clients. Very often, particularly if you're a coach, I know Catherine's a brilliant health coach, but the reason she's come into this was because she's gone through that journey herself and wants to help more women to realize that life isn't all downhill after 40, and you can have more energy and vitality at any age. So, if she hadn't gone through that experience and had that belief that it's possible, she might be in a very different business right now. And then all those things that we're great with, we don't necessarily need to brag about these, but we do need to make sure that the way we develop our business plays to those strengths, so that we can leverage those to have a bigger impact for our clients. So these two plots are going to play a key role in what makes us really valuable to our dream clients. Which brings me on to the dream clients. And there's always this big question, do I really need to niche? But you can't work with everybody. I mean, if you're a coach, for example, yeah, you could. Catherine could help everyone in the world have more vitality and energy. But would she have the energy to do that? Probably not. And how do you find all these people? And is everybody willing to pay and show up and be a great client and take the actions they need to put your advice into practice and change their world? There are so many factors that make someone a dream client versus a nightmare client, that we want to filter that down. And for most clients, they're not looking to serve hundreds of thousands of people. A handful of the right clients often is enough to have a six-figure business and to have that success that you're looking for as well. And then we kind of combine that. So where does your true value overlap with your dream client? So what makes you the perfect person to serve them? What makes them the perfect clients for you? And that's your value sweet spot. So using that, keeping everything in this space, we can start to craft your messaging and your offers. And as I said, no one else has this sweet spot. So it's going to ensure that you are naturally differentiated and more confident. When you're showing up on social media and if I operate in this space, I am going to make a difference for people. If Catherine puts out a message today that helps women to shift their understanding, then believe that, yeah, I do deserve better. That's already having an impact before anyone even starts to work with her in a paid capacity. So you can already have an impact when you know this sweet spot. And that's where we also feel we're playing to our strengths. We are doing what feels right for us and what we know is going to make a difference for our clients. So it all feels good as well. So until you nail this, this is when we can work too hard, we can feel fake and actually repel our dream clients because I hear a lot of people saying, I've been told I have to message 100 people a day on LinkedIn. Who's ever had a message on LinkedIn that said, hey, this is my services, we should work together, and thought, oh, yeah, okay, then. Or if you thought, block. If you're like me, you block that person. So doing the wrong strategies is not going to create or start that relationship you need to build with your clients to build that know, like, trust, and that believe that you are the right person to serve them. So if you don't have the right strategies, you can actually be repelling your dream clients. And if you don't have that right strategy, no amount of hard work is going to help. It's actually going to push your business further in the opposite direction, which we don't want. If you don't have this value sweet spot, that understanding, then we can think in circles because we're like, oh, we can be too easily swayed by all these other strategies that seem to be working for other people or we've been told we should do. But once we have this filter, we can start to see what is right for us and make better decisions as well. And we can feel overwhelmed and disappointed when we're trying to do everything. So much better to focus in this value sweet spot so we can be more streamlined and have more impact in the process. When we get it right, you start to stand out as the natural choice for your dream clients. It's easier to make those right decisions. And what I've often seen with my clients is once they understand this, they almost can't not talk about their offers because they can see the difference it's going to make for their dream clients. So that confidence comes, and this idea of having to do your marketing, that shifts because you suddenly know, well, I have to do this so I can help these people, and you feel really driven to do that rather than seeing it as a chore or something you have to do. So it can be quite a big shift, just this small piece of understanding. So this is one of my clients, Kate. She was, as she put it, drowning in a sea of marketing woes. I love that description, but it wasn't the situation where we wanted to keep her, obviously. So why she was drowning was because she was targeting the wrong clients. So she's got an English language school. She helps children to read and write in English, but she helps them co-create the lessons. So what they're actually doing is learning how they learn and becoming a real passionate lifelong learner, which helps not only their English language learning, but every other aspect of their schooling as well, way through to university. So she wasn't targeting clients who were looking for that solution. She was talking about teaching, but there was no differentiation in that. And there were lots of competition who were charging less than half of what her fees were. So with targeting the wrong client, no differentiation, she was working really, really hard, but no one was getting her value. And if they don't get you, they don't book you. So she came to me at a point where she'd been making a loss for 2 years, and it was really make or break time. So we took that step back, looked at her value sweet spot, and we discovered who was really passionate in the same way that she is about her method, her way of schooling children. And so we found her dream clients were conscious parents who really wanted to give their kids the best start in life. Now, of course, all parents want that for their kids, but some are really going all out to make that happen. So what she did for them, in fact, she did something quite smart. Once a month, she had a parenting session for her clients. And so they came in, she was having experts come in to present to them. But It was nothing to do with her services or her school, but everything to do with showing her ideal clients that she understood their problem, what they were trying to achieve, and that she was there to support them. So she was building that relationship and showing that this is my value sweet spot. And if you align with this, we could be great. And then she had a wait list of clients within 3 months. That was 7 years ago now, and she's still thriving in business. So you can find some really interesting ways of marketing your business, creating offers, and really adding value to your clients once you know this value sweet spot. Step two is the value weaving. So once you know what your true value is, you want to weave that through your marketing, your sales, and your processes to make sure everything is aligned and it feels good, like Kate was experiencing. She started to really enjoy her marketing and it was getting results as well. So we're going to look at this stage, what is meaningful when it comes to your messaging and your marketing, what feels right for your personality, and what's meaningful for your clients. What are they going to say thank you for? Then to have value generating sales conversations. Now, I know this is the part where everyone like dreads the sales conversation, but when you understand that sales is all about, again, demonstrating that you understand your client, giving them the space to tell them, open up and tell you where they're struggling, and for you to then have a discussion about how you can help solve that problem. So you're actually serving them. You're helping them get clarity around what it is that they need, and you're helping them get the right results if they choose to work with you. And of course, we're never going to be saying you have to work with us, is really their choice, but we want to have a conversation that, if you're a coach, this is very much like a coaching situation. You want to understand the situation and help guide them to the right conclusion for them. And it's the same with your sales conversation. So they're really generating that value. And I'll tell you now, about 50% of my Google reviews are from people that have had a sales call with me. But you'll see none of them said she sold to me. It was just like, oh, helped me get real clarity around what I need to do next on my business. And these are people that they just weren't right for this program for one reason or another, but they still went away with value and knowing what to do next to grow their business. So you want clients to come to a sales call and again want to say thank you afterwards. So that's going to sit right with you, and it's also going to help you to audition your right fit clients in the right way, so you get better quality clients to work with as well. And then, as I said, you want to have simple processes that are going to make all of this feel consistent. So you don't end up having people fall through the cracks, that you can show up consistently on your marketing channel, your chosen method of reaching the market, whether that's webinars or a podcast or social media or speaking or email, whatever you choose to do. It's going to support you in being consistent as well, because that is what's required. We have to show up consistently. And to do that, it has to feel meaningful and it has to feel easy, as I said. Otherwise, we don't do it, or a life event is going to throw us off track. So until you can do this, marketing and sales is going to feel difficult and overwhelming, because you're trying to do everything and you're not quite sure what's working. And it's not necessarily going to have a system and a process that's supporting you. You're going to have to keep lowering your prices and offering discounts because you're not attracting those right clients in and building that relationship where they get to not just know, like, and trust you, but they believe that you're the right person to solve their problem. And you'll struggle to feel motivated and feel confident, and you'll end up repelling clients as well as a result. So when you get this right, your marketing feels straightforward, sales feels enjoyable, and you start to achieve more than you thought possible. So it takes a bit of courage, this step, because you are narrowing things down. But once you're confident that this value sweet spot feels right for you, then everything else is going to follow on from that as well. So it takes a bit of courage to take that step, because you may be going against what every other guru has told you should be doing, but it soon starts to come together and work, which then enables you to continue with that once you've proven to yourself that you have now a system that's going to work for your business growth. So I had a client, Sarah, who dreaded sales calls, but not because she didn't like the conversations, but because in her experience, every conversation she had, these clients, they were really driving down her prices, demanding discounts or just taking the smallest version of her offer possible. So she really felt that she was wasting her time and it didn't feel good. And felt like she's having to kind of cajole people into buying from her. And so she was just disheartened by the whole process and almost gave up, which was then impacting her marketing because you don't want to bring clients in because at some point you're going to have that sales call with her. So her business was definitely not growing. However, once we knew her value sweet spot and we could weave that through her sales conversations, she was able to explain to people how she could understand her client and position her value as their solution. So before she was telling them about everything. And I know I was talking in one of the emails coming to here, it's like, don't say you work with people because people is everybody. We want to say who we work with, be really specific about that. And Sarah was very much in the people camp. She was saying, I work with people and we do all of these things, thinking that if she told them everything, they would be able to choose and tell her what they wanted. But it's the other way around because we're the experts. We know what's going to work for our clients. They haven't got a clue. So we could give them this extensive menu and they're going to be so overwhelmed, they won't make a choice or they won't feel confident. So they'll demand discounts or they will just take the tiniest offer just to try it out and try and figure out what it's all about. So she started doing it the other way around. Once she understood how to have a conversation that helped her understand her client and their needs and their situation, she could then just take the bits of her value that were going to make the difference for them and then make her recommendation. And then her clients started to not just buy from her, but buy bigger packages, which enabled her to serve them more deeply and get better results, which then gave her better testimonials, which then became this fulfilling prophecy. So things started to really take off with her business. And I remember the first time she put her new process in place and she messaged me saying, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to go back to all my previous clients and rehab these conversations. Now I know how I can help them get the right solutions to them. So it all started to come together. And within the time frame we were working together, she was able to not just, before she had a team, she was able to pay her team, but she wasn't paying herself. So now she's working less, paying herself as well as her team, and getting better quality clients. And the whole thing started to take off and grow. So once you get that right approach for you, things start to feel easier and work better at the same time. So this is not about working harder. Very often when I work with clients, I end up doing less because we strip out everything that's not working for them, focus on what does work, and create that nice client journey for your clients to follow. And then finally, the self-leadership. This is really where we're going to master your mindset and help you find out what works for you and create that environment and the right habits so you can support your own success on an ongoing basis. And this is something that we come to a lot of the time because as you go through the process, new doubts will arise, negative thinking will creep in, and where particularly if you are more introverted, you have a bias for thinking over action, which means that if you have this doubt, we can spiral into negative thinking and just stay stuck. So understanding this, we can build this into your processes, build a better understanding of what you need, how you work, what success, how you make success happen. And then we can really not exactly formalize that, but really build that into your habits, your processes, the way you show up, the way you run your days. And so that you start to have more time and energy. And with this, you might have seen in these little segments, it's got momentum, confidence, and impact. Because when you know your true value and you're able to build that into your marketing and see people respond positively to that, it builds your confidence. When you know your true value and you're able to have this mindset, you have the time and energy to deliver more of that, you build momentum. And then when you have the time and energy, the self-leadership, and the marketing is working for you, this is when you start to really have an impact. So this is what we're really looking for in our business, to build a confident overall business that is going to be driving momentum, confidence, and impact so that you can, as I say, create success on your own terms because it's all built around what's most meaningful for you and your dream clients. So Until you nail this, you'll struggle to find the time to get everything done. And self-doubt and overwhelm will keep you stuck and frustrated. We don't want that. We want to get this right so you can start to feel accomplished. Fear and doubt will start to loosen their grip, and over time, they're going to dissipate and not show up and hold you back. And you'll start to see a whole new world of potential. So that was Monica's story. When she came to me, she was overwhelmed. She was going all in for her clients. She was customizing, she's an online English teacher, so she was customizing her lessons for each client, really thinking about how to get the best results for them. But because she had rock bottom pricing, which was attracting all the wrong clients in, she was exhausted and overwhelmed and felt out of control. Once she shifted her mindset around how she can really use her skills to make a difference and who are her dream clients, everything started to change and shift. She started to attract better quality clients at three different price points so that she could still feel confident that she was charging the right people a fair price, because that was really important to her. But she became more profitable. She could actually do more interesting work. As an experienced business communication professional, she had so much more to bring than the way she was working before. So she felt more fulfilled. Her clients were happier. She had more income, and all her clients had the perfect offer for them. So overall, she doubled her profits and felt so much more confident and in control than ever before. So understanding that sweet spot really changed everything in Monica's business, but relatively quickly as well. So we didn't have to do quite so much trial and error because we already became clear where she could have the most impact with her particular skill base, and in a way that would feel right for her, because she had very different views about how she wanted to create an impact and for whom. So the mindset was the big barrier for Monica, because until she had the value sweet spot that she could then build that belief around it, everything else was going to stay stuck for her. And they're not alone. If you go to my website and click testimonials, you'll see dozens of testimonials and case studies from other clients who have created success on their own terms. And what I love is that each one is slightly different because they haven't had a cookie cutter approach. They've got exactly what they needed from the program as well. And that was just the beginning. Once they have that foundation. So Emma, for example, she increased her visibility and her revenue and drastically reduced her hours. She was a little bit like Monica, customizing everything for her clients. She did have high paying clients, but she could only serve one or two because of her process. So we created a new model for her. And then she had doubled her profit by the end of our time working together. In the following 12 months, however, she was pushing six figures for the first time. So she was able then to continue. Once you have this system, you can just continue with that. It's the other thing that was important for me with the Value Whispering Blueprint, is you understand where it's all coming from. You're not just doing something because someone told you to do it. You're doing it because you understand that this is what's going to make a difference, and you've developed it. You've created this beautiful thing that you're sharing with the world. So it's much easier to know how to continue, how to tweak that, what to change as you go further forward as well. So as I mentioned, if you have found this interesting, I want to give you my entire process, because I have spent the last, well, I was going to say 6 months. It's more than that now because I started in January. Started 2 years ago, actually, but putting this entire system together in a book. And it's called The Art of Value Whispering. And I'm currently looking for people who would pre-read the book. So you'll read the book before it's published, so that the day it's published, you can buy it on Amazon. It'll be available for 99 pence or cents or whatever your currency is. So you can buy it at 99 cents and then give an honest, verified review on Amazon, because reviews are like gold dust for books. And then I'll also send you a signed hard copy of the book as well, so that you have the full package. If you'd like to become a pre-reader, be part of that launch team, just put a yes in the comments or reach out to me personally. It really would mean the world to me to have you as part of my little launch team. And also, everybody who takes part and shares a review and shares a copy of the, like a post about the book on social media, will get to be put in a draw to win a day in Switzerland here with me having a mastermind. And pre-readers will be put in that draw twice. So you have twice the chance to win too. So if you are sitting there thinking, well, that's nice, but I just want to get started and love your help. If you go to valuewhispering.com, you can learn about the Value Whispering Blueprint, which is the program where I work with my clients through this whole process. So do go and check that out if you want to go faster. Also, what's coming up next in the community? We're doing things a little bit differently. Previously, I was doing 10 masterclasses and recycling those, but this time we're doing one masterclass per month. And then we are having more sort of community events where you get to know each other, discuss your business and growth and ideas. So we all grow together. So that's part of the shift from the Dream Clients Club to the Value Spring Circle. So next week, we'll be hosting a podcast chat, which is going to be based on the Brilliant Business Book Festival I've been having on the podcast. If you haven't been part of that, actually, let me put the link in the chat for you. Over the summer, I've been interviewing the authors of some of my favorite business books, the ones that have really shaped my thinking and have been part of the Value Whispering Blueprint often. And some of the books I wish I'd read sooner. So if you have missed any of that, if you go to melittacampbell.com/podcast or just go to my website and click on the podcast, you can see all of those. They were brilliant. As the authors of amazing business books, they talk about their topic a lot, and they were just really able to download some amazing value into those episodes. So do go and listen to those and come along to the chat. What we will be focusing on is what has stood out for you. What ideas have you had? What questions do you have about how to apply some of those principles to your business? And so we'll be looking at how can we take those insights and make them practical and really help you use them to grow your business as well. So we'll be doing this on a monthly basis. The podcast comes out weekly, so there'll be always plenty of fuel for that discussion. And of course, there's more than 270 episodes, so you can discuss anything that's come up for you from that podcast. And also your ideas from that chat will help me to find the right guests because this podcast is your podcast. The idea is to share great information with you. So that chat is also going to help me inform where my podcast goes in the future and who I invite onto the show. And then after that, the following week, we'll be having an action networking, which is where you get to meet and grow with other members of the community. It's very introvert friendly. I promise you, it's really fun. We've did this a couple of years ago. And the sessions were brilliant, but then the masterclasses took over. But I really missed the interaction with the team. So with the action networking, there's always a theme. It'll be linked to the theme of that month. And we're going to share ideas of what's working, what isn't, to meet each other in small groups and then come away with what are the actions you're going to take and how can we support you in achieving those. So it's really a great way to put fuel to your business growth as well, and just feel supported in whichever direction you're going next. And then after that, I'm undecided whether to do a live Q&A where I'll answer any of your questions, or whether to do a co-working session where we focus on getting some of your content created, and I'm there to support you in that process as well. So if you've got any thoughts on that or preferences, let me know, and that will help me decide. Or maybe one month I'll do one and the next month I'll do another, and we can test it out and see where that takes us. So that's what's coming up in the Value Whispering Circle. You can find all of the dates and the links and everything in the calendar tab. And if you're not in the Value Whispering Circle yet, if you go to melittacampbell.com/club, you will get there. It'll take you straight through to that page. So I would love to know, where are you now? How are you feeling now about your business growth, your sales, your marketing? Is there anything you're thinking differently? Anything that's come up for you that you thought, oh, I hadn't really thought about it that way? What are you excited to go and do? Or do you have any questions that you need answered to help you go and start doing things differently? Let's stop that share. We don't need that. Philip, you're not coming in, you're too late. Yeah, so what have been the gems coming up for you today? What have you started to see or think or feel differently?
Um, so, Melita, I just want to thank you for the very interesting introduction presentation of this system. For me, was really reassuring because, as you said, in this kind of work, you feel very lonely. Self-doubt can really take a lot of space in our minds. I start thinking, I mean, today I have a proof that I am the only one that maybe I'm not carved to be an entrepreneur. Yes, I'm a coach, but maybe I'm not, made to be an entrepreneur. And this system makes me think that each of us can really find their way to bring their value in a, as you said, I think the words that really struck to me was in an easy and meaningful way. Otherwise, as you said, you cannot have consistency.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love that that's the insight you're taking away
Yeah.
because yeah, and I know that you haven't, but you haven't just started your business last month. You've been doing this for a while. So I love that you're really starting to see that your way is perfect. Just add a bit of structure to that, a bit more intention, and it all starts to come together. Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to share some insights and gems they're taking away? So Kath feels
I'll share.
be more
Oh,
targeted and on what I spend my time on. Yeah, absolutely. More targeted and more impactful too. Uh, oh, I'll show you where the event calendar is, Catherine. Yeah, Catherine, without feeling the pressure to do everything. Sorry, your mic isn't working. Yeah, me too. Nikki, you had your hand up there.
yeah, I'll share. So, I have been in operation for just over a year now, and I do seem to jump all over the show with what I do. I love doing so many different things, and I'm still battling with trying to, with my posts, focus on one area. I tend to really spread all over the show, and I need to master my mindset. I need to know what what it is, the what is my actual value that I'm going to add to somebody out there.
Yeah.
I am doing wellness days, and I'm actually going to a school to go and teach children how to about protein and how to eat well. That came through a meeting I had with someone. So that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of all over the show. I teach people how to cook. I'm a personal trainer. I teach people how to weight train. And so, because I've got all these different balls that I'm throwing up in the air, I can't focus on one thing. I am that all over the show person. And I think it is a bit of my personality as well.
Yeah, but very likely. What we've been discovering is that I'm just finding so many people in my entrepreneurial circles are suddenly popping up saying, I've just found out I've got ADHD. So I did invite someone onto my podcast to talk about that and say, do you have to have ADHD to be a successful entrepreneur? Because that was kind of how it felt like. But there are a lot of people who do need that variety to stay focused and interested and feel alive. And you can make that work, but you just need to streamline the processes behind it and really think of the rationale. How is this creating the impact that I want to create in a way that only I can? And if you find that value sweet spot, and then what I would encourage you to do is to find those three big topics that you want to be known for. So you may do 50 things, but what are the three topics that you want to be known for? And focus your content around those. Because if you're doing 50 things, nothing is going to land. People aren't going to really get what you're all about. So even if you're about 50 things, boil that down to three you want to get known for or want to get known for first. Because sometimes people will come to you for one thing and then they'll discover this secret
Mm.
menu of all these other ways you can help. But if you promote all of them, it's just overwhelming. And as we saw in Sarah's story, then people don't buy, or they will reduce their risk because they're not quite sure, but they like you. So they're like, well, could you do it for this price and do this little thing just to test you out? But that doesn't help. If you're always bringing people in at a discount to do one little thing, then that's when it really becomes exhausting to get in all of these clients all of the time. So I think go back to your value spot, sweet spot. What do you want to get known for? What is your client struggling with today? And really focus your content on on that space. And hopefully that will start to attract more of the right people in. And what you want is your messaging and positioning and marketing to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, for them to instantly see you as their ideal choice and already come to that sales call already understanding or feeling like they understand who you are, that you represent great value for them, you're relevant, and believing that you could be the right person. And once you get that sales conversation, it's very different to getting someone on where you have to really, really sell yourself because they're not convinced, they don't know who you are. So with the, and this is why it's a whole process, and this is what the book really maps out for you, is how to map your entire process, your messaging, your marketing, your sales, your onboarding, your advocacy, the whole client journey. How do you map your activities to that? So you're keeping things simple, but really guiding the right people through the entire process. So yeah, hopefully that will help you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks.
Anna, this isn't your first rodeo. You've been to these sessions before. What has stood out for you today?
No, actually, I have miss you. I haven't seen any of your sessions lately, and I haven't missing you. For me has been key the fact of focusing on the value before you approach any client, because actually one of the issues I have is that I'm a very extrovert, exactly the opposite of you, that you are an introvert. So I have no issue talking to people. And one of the examples you mentioned, Sarah, I think it was, that she was talking a lot to clients. But I really noticed that although I have no issue talking to people and explaining what I'm doing and blah, 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 my message doesn't come across. And I think it's because well, it can be that someone is not listening to me, actually, that can happen, but it happens to me very often. And I think it's because I don't communicate properly the value I want to transmit. And I focus too much in my solution, not on the customer's needs. And these 2 points are, I think, is the key. So I really need to define the value, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why is that helping my customers, or that could help my customers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Very often for introverts, it's a case of drawing out more of the message. For extroverts, about reining it back.
Yeah, exactly. So it's something I really need to refresh for me, kind of. And well, you gave me a lot of homework, actually, without wanting to.
But this is good homework because it's going to rationalize everything else you do and make everything else simpler. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you very much. It has been really, really inspiring. Thank you.
You're welcome. Catherine, this is very much a refresh for you. I know you know the Value Whispering Blueprint very well. Did you take anything different from today?
Well, I can definitely see how far I've come compared to how I was when I first started with you. And, as you went through your whole process, I can see where I am in that and how much more confident I am and how much more sort of secure in my value and what I'm offering I am. But just based on what you were just saying then about sales calls, I think what changed for me in the process of going through the value whispering was, instead of sort of dreading the sales call and seeing it as something that was going to be awkward and difficult, they just became really easy, because for me, I'm not going into it with a view to selling. I'm not going into it thinking about, necessarily what the outcome is going to be. I'm just going into it knowing that I'm secure in what I'm offering, that I can add value. I know what that value is. I know how to communicate it. I know how to listen and tell the person who's talking to me what I can do for them. And then the rest is up to them on whether they think I'm the right person, whether they've got the money or whatever else. But the change was going into it without expecting any outcome. And it just becomes a really, I don't know, it's just not a stressful situation. It just doesn't feel stressful anymore. But knowing the value is a really key part of that.
Yeah, exactly. The sales call is just an extension of that value. And so as you said, you set everything else up, that conversation feels so different. It's really just like, well, this is, who are you? What are you struggling with? Could this help you? Let's just discuss that. So yeah, fantastic. Yeah, wonderful feedback. Thank you. And Jenny, you're at the beginning of your kind of value whispering journey. Did this help you? How are you feeling now about the journey you have coming up?
Ahead. Yeah, no, I think that I feel confident in the process, and kind of, I think that we've mentioned it before, just to trust the process. And I'm in this stage of finding my value and then defining my clients. And now it's time for me to, like, how do I put that out? And seeing again the whole process reminded me that sometimes I get like, oh my God, I have to do everything. And I was reading here, Kath's message is really to, okay, just doing it step by step without feeling the pressure, and just feeling confident that the process works and I will get there. I've already done a few things, so that's a lot more than at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And it sounds like you've all got some clear next steps or a shift that's going to be more helpful when it comes to determining what are those next best steps for you. Let me just show you very quickly the value whispering circles. So when you come in, you land in the community, and this is where, and you can post anything here. I know I post a lot, but you can post too. And you can join the discussion here as well. Then we have the classroom. So inside of here, obviously I'm seeing everything. You might not see as much as I have here as the admin, but there are lots of tools in here already. So yeah, Anna, you're right. I didn't do the value stream sessions as the masterclasses for a while because I was focusing on getting my book done, and then also the book festival on my podcast. It was just too many things at the same time. But we're back now, and you can see all the replays of previous ones here. So creating your all-star LinkedIn profile, ultimate social media for more clients, podcast masterclass that was celebrating 250 episodes of my podcast. I shared what I've learned over that process, how introverts can sell more. And then we've got the replays from previously. And so there's a lot in here. And I've also grouped them in themes. So if you want to focus on getting your social media right, and it's a mix of masterclass replays and podcasts as well, podcast episodes on those relevant topics. So you'll find, if you're ever bored, you'll find a lot of helpful content in here. And this calendar, this is where you'll find coming up, the events that are coming up, and they're not in there. I need to check with my VA. She needs to put these in, but you click on the event and you'll get either the Zoom call to join direct, or if it isn't, sometimes I'm featured in other people's events and summits and giveaways and things. So you may find here it's a registration page to go and register to join those events as well. So you can click straight through, or you can add it to your calendar by clicking there. You can see who else is part of the group, and so you can connect with anyone here. And we have the leaderboards. So as you participate, so if you comment on posts, if you post a new post yourself, if you like, you all get points for these activities. And then as you go up through the levels, you unlock more training and tools. So at level 2, you get the daily achievement planner. Level 3, you get a webinar on essential growth strategies and mindset reset, how to break even in sales, and so on. So there's more as you go. And at level 7, there's no link for that, but you get a power hour call with me. And then there's just a little bit about it. You are more than welcome to invite any other people in your network who you feel may enjoy being part of this community. So feel free to invite them. That you can share this link, or as I say, melittacampbell.com/club is the short link that will send people directly here as well. Any other questions before we wrap up for today? Great. Well, thank you all for joining me today and for participating as well. It's always more enjoyable when everyone takes part. So I love that you all jumped in. We'll be back here, as I said, next week with the podcast discussion. It's the first time we've done this. So come along and help shape how that format is going to work. But I say we've had just some incredible podcast episodes over the summer with these authors. We have Bob Berg talking about his book, The Go-Giver, which is my absolute favorite. I can't believe half these people said yes to coming on my show. And I would just reach out and said, would you like to come on the show? And they're like, we'd love to. It's like, oh my gosh, why have I not asked earlier?
Melitta, sorry, I
yeah.
didn't understand. So the discussion is gonna be on a specific podcast or
It's on the podcasts that have the recent ones that have come out over the summer.
so any of them?
Any of them. Yeah. You don't have
Okay.
to have listened to all of them. But if you've listened to one or a couple of them and you've got some insights you want to share or some ideas or questions, because the nice thing about having this podcast is you get the interview with the person, but we also speak before and after, often for several couple of hours. So and a lot of the content, they were all chosen because their topic aligns with different parts of the value whispering process as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting discussion to see, well, what came out, a bit like a book club, but a podcast club. Maybe that's the name for it, podcast club. But it's really looking at not just turning this nice experience, having that nice experience, but turning that into real practical actions you can start to use to grow your business or your confidence. A lot of what we talked about is mindset as well, particularly with Julie Riesler, who was the first one in the book festival. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you then. Meantime, if you have any questions, want to reach out with any comments, then you can find me in the school group.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a fantastic week.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.